Hello, I am Mac, and it's time to get real. Today we're going to be talking about fake news, but not in the way that you're expecting, because nowadays when people talk about fake news, they're trying to support their own political agenda by saying that all the news that disagree with them is fake news, and it happens on both sides of the aisle because all news is lying to you, and not lying to you in the way, and outright telling you facts that aren't true. um, Most news tells the truth, and by most I mean mainstream news. And I'm not saying I'm not like, okay, so for example, fake Fox News will kind of say that they are not mainstream media. They'll say, okay, the mainstream media over there, they lie to you. But the honest thing is, Fox News is also mainstream. All mainstream news um, lies to you in a certain way. All mainstream news has a political agenda. And what I want you to understand is that whatever their political leaning is, they will twist the facts in a way so that it supports their agenda. And I'm not being partisan here. I'm not going on the side of either the right or the left. Both sides lie. And both sides try to trick you into believing them. I'm going to give you a really good example of something that just happened recently where you can easily see that both sides will lie to their viewers in order to support their political agenda. Obviously, we've been dealing with the virus, and I'm not really going to go much into that. But earlier on this year, when the virus was first starting out, well, not really when it was first starting out, kind of, midway, like March or April, was around the time when people were getting sick of the lockdown, sick of being trapped indoors and not being able to work and everything, and people started to protest that. People started going out protesting, saying, we want to go back to work, we don't want to be locked down anymore. And basically the right wanted to support that and the left did not. So right-leaning media such as Fox News would say, oh, this is great, these people are supporting their constitutional right. They're going out and they're raising their legitimate issue, and they have every right to do that, and they are right. They should have the right to go back to work. And what the left did, the left-leaning media, such as like NBC, MSNBC, and all that, they, instead of concentrating on all these nice grassroots people that are protesting, focused in on certain people that had guns, certain people that had assault rifles. You can easily go back, Google videos on YouTube just recently in the news where this happened, where they were like, oh, look, they have assault rifles. There's anarchists in there. This is all being led by anarchists. These are bad people. These are bad protesters. We shouldn't listen to them. They're not doing anything good. They're trying to create anarchy in our country. And so things progressed, and a few months later, we had a new protest going on, the Black Lives Matter protest. And I'm not saying anything bad about that. I very strongly support the African American community. In fact, I have very close friends that are African Americans. And in fact, what I'm going to say here is maybe even more in support of that. Because, like I said, I'm not being partisan here. I'm showing you how both sides lie. So the exact same thing happened again. People were out protesting Black Lives Matter, and now it was the right who were against it and the left who were for it. So the left were the ones saying, oh, this is great. These are people exercising their constitutional right to protest, and this is good, and we should listen to them, and we should do what they want. This is a good protest. And the right was just the opposite. They said, look at all this looting. They're destroying property. They're the right focused in on the bad parts of those protests and said, this is a bad protest. These are bad people. We shouldn't listen to them. This is not what should be doing. And this is such an obvious example. We had two sets of protests back to back. First, protesting wanting the end of the lockdown, and the right supported that, and the left said it was bad. And then we had Black Lives Matter happen, and the right was against it and the left was for it. Both sides on either issue either supported what they wanted or they went against it by focusing in on the negative parts. And the truth is, both protests were legitimate. It is perfectly fine to protest the end of the lockdown if you don't want it to be down. It is very good to support African Americans in having equal treatment. Both are legitimate. Both groups had people that were peaceful protesters. They were supporting what they want, what they want to change to happen, and they had every right to exercise their constitutional rights. In both groups, however, there were people that wanted to do bad things. There apparently were people with assault rifles in the end the lockdown protests, and there was looting going on by opportunists in the Black Lives Matter protests. But the thing is that the news will focus in on the negative if they don't want that protest to happen. So they are lying to you. They're not really saying something that's totally not true, but they are editing out the good parts if they don't want it to be seen in a positive light, and they're putting in only the negative parts if they want you to see the negative in it. So both sides are lying to you. If you're someone who prefers to watch the right-wing leaning news, then you're being lied to, so that you'll only support their agenda. If you're watching the left-leaning media, you're being lied to so that you'll only support their agenda. Everybody is lying to you. And personally, I am absolutely sick of it. I'm sick of being lied to. I used to be one that would only watch one leaning side of the news, but I'm not going to tell you which because I don't want you to think I'm biased. Because I personally, I don't think I'm biased anymore. I decided when I started watching the news again, when the virus started happening, that I would watch both sides, that I would watch Fox News and NBC, and things like that. And I started to realize just how much they lie to us, because they will always edit things to support their agenda and make one side look good and one side look bad. So they both lie to us, and I'm absolutely sick of it. There's no mainstream media that you can watch and not be lied to. They will tell you that the other side is lying and they're telling the truth, but that's a lie too. They're both lying to you. So don't just watch one news. Either don't watch the news at all because you don't want to be lied to, or watch both sides and realize how much both sides are lying to you, and realize that you need to form your own opinions based on the truth and not based on what they're trying to trick you by editing things to support it in their way, okay? So stop being lied to. We need to get real. We need to wake up and realize that all of the mainstream media is lying to us, and we need to not let them control our way of thinking because they just want to support their agenda. Everybody does it. All of the mainstream media does it. And we'll get into this more later. I'm not going to do a huge long video here, but basically, I honestly don't like any mainstream media or entertainment anymore. That's why I love YouTube so much, is because here on YouTube, people can tell the truth. Obviously, there are people who are politically leaning that will lie to you as well on YouTube. But on YouTube, since it's, totally controlled by independent people, not always, big corporations have infiltrated YouTube as well. But there's a lot of us here, small-time people, that can research and look up the real truth about things and tell each other about it instead of being tricked by the lies of the mainstream media. So This is a good first political video. This is what it's going to be like. I'm not going to be left leaning or right leaning. I'm going to tell you that the truth is out there and that everybody's lying to you and you need to find the truth for yourself. So that's what I mean when I say get real, is that we need to get real and stop letting the media lie to us, all of the media. I'm not being partisan because that's just the truth. Everybody is lying to us, and we need to wake up and realize that. So that does it for this video. I have been Mac. Stay safe, stay woke, and get real.